Okay, so you're prepping for a youth worker job interview.
Well, that's fantastic.
We're going to help you tackle those interview questions and really make your passion and skills shine through.
Yeah, you want to show those interviewers that you're the perfect person to support and guide young people.
Exactly. So we're diving deep into some common questions, and we're going to be using those awesome RoleCatcher career guides as our, roadmap.
I love it's like interview boot camp.
Yeah.
We'll uncover what the interviewer is actually looking for and give you those winning strategies to craft some impactful answers.
Yeah. And we'll also sprinkle in some real insider perspectives on what a career in youth work actually looks like.
So let's jump right in with a classic opener you always hear. Can you tell us about your experience working with youth?
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, they want to know you've been there, in the trenches, right?
Exactly. They're looking for proof of all those core youth worker skills, like mentorship, communication, empathy, problem solving. Think back to your experiences, anything like volunteering, coaching, mentoring.
Oh, yeah.
Even babysitting can be relevant
Really?
if you highlight the right aspects.
Okay, so it's not just listing every single time I've ever interacted with someone under 18.
No, it's not about that at all.
Right.
It's about really showcasing how you made a positive impact on young people.
Right.
So did you help a shy kid open up, or did you maybe guide a group through a conflict? Those are the gems that they want to hear.
Okay, so how do we avoid, falling into that trap of just being too vague?
Right.
I can totally see myself in an interview just being like, oh, I just love working with kids.
Yeah. And hoping that's enough.
Yeah, hoping that's enough.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But instead of those general statements, you want to offer up concrete examples.
Okay.
Talk about the responsibilities you held, any skills that you've gained, and the impact that you made. And even numbers can be super powerful, too.
Yeah.
So something like, I mentored 10 students over a year, or I organized a fundraiser that raised $500 for youth programs.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so numbers are good.
Numbers are good.
And don't shy away from the challenges either, right?
Absolutely.
Youth work, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Interviewers really appreciate honesty and self-awareness. So talk about maybe a tough situation that you had to navigate, what you learned from that and how you grew.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a conflict popped up in a group that you were leading, or you had to adapt your approach for a young person with, specific needs.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this is where RoleCatcher, I think, can really come in handy.
Oh, totally.
Their AI can actually analyze your responses and pinpoint those areas where you could maybe add more depth or those specific examples.
It's like having a personal coach. Hey, this is where you can really showcase your problem-solving skills.
Okay, I like that. All right, so another question that often pops up is, how do you build trust and rapport with youth?
That's a good one.
This one feels a bit trickier to me.
It does.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm trustworthy.
Right. You
Yeah.
can't just say that.
Yeah.
It's all about showing that genuine empathy and understanding of how to connect with young people.
Right.
Active listening is definitely key. But what does that really look like in action?
Yeah.
Maybe you make a point of getting on their level physically.
Oh,
Even mirroring their body language just to create that connection.
that's a good tip.
Or using open-ended questions, to really encourage them to open up.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And you might also mention things like respecting boundaries, validating their feelings, and being consistent in your actions. It's all about showing them, hey, I'm here for you. I'm reliable, and I care.
And building that trust, it takes time.
It does. It's not an instant thing.
Okay.
You might even share a short story about how you slowly gained a young person's trust.
Oh,
Maybe you just started by showing up, consistently offering a listening ear, slowly building that relationship.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into conflict resolution a little bit.
So how do you handle conflicts between youth? That's got to be a question that comes up a lot.
It's a given. Conflicts happen.
Yeah.
Interviewers want to see if you can navigate those conflicts constructively. So think of a specific conflict that you helped mediate, walk them through the situation. What happened, the steps that you took to resolve it, what was the outcome, and most importantly, what you learned from that experience.
And what are some key skills to highlight here? I'm guessing active listening is pretty high on the list.
It is, but also mediation, conflict resolution, staying calm when things get a little tough.
Right.
So did you facilitate a conversation? Did you help maybe see different perspectives?
Oh, yeah.
Or even guide them to a compromise? Remember, it's not about punishing. It's about teaching positive conflict resolution skills.
And again, RoleCatcher can help you practice your answer for this type of question.
Holy.
You can record yourself answering the question.
I love that.
And the AI analyzes your tone, pacing, even your body language to help you project confidence and composure. It's like having this virtual mirror showing you how you come across. You can make little tweaks and really nail that delivery.
Okay, I like that. All right, so this next question is a big one. How do you ensure the safety and well-being of youth in your care?
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, it's a heavy topic, but so crucial for any youth worker.
Absolutely. And that's where you demonstrate that you understand the seriousness of that responsibility.
Right.
You want to start with the basics, familiarity with the organization's safety policies and procedures.
Okay, and then you can talk about the steps you take to ensure physical safety,
Yes.
like being aware of your surroundings,
Yes.
having a buddy system for outings, or even like an emergency plan.
Exactly. And it's not just physical safety.
Right.
You also need to be thinking about their emotional well-being.
Okay.
So how do you create a safe space for young people to share their feelings? Maybe you have clear boundaries in place.
Yeah.
You're a mandated reporter.
Right.
And you know how to access resources for mental health support.
So it's about being proactive and thoughtful about all aspects of safety.
Precisely. Now let's talk about a scenario that requires careful handling. How do you handle situations where a youth discloses abuse or neglect?
Oh, it's a tough one.
It is.
But it's important to be prepared for this, even though it's something we hope never happens.
You're right. It's super important. The
Yeah.
interviewer's checking to see if you understand mandated reporting
Right.
and how to handle sensitive information with compassion and professionalism.
So walk us through the steps a youth worker should take if a young person discloses abuse.
So first and foremost, listen without judgment. Offer support and reassurance. Let them know you believe them and that you're there to help. And then follow your organization's mandated reporting guidelines.
Okay.
This typically involves documenting the disclosure and calling the right people, like Child Protective Services.
And it's important to remember that you're not a therapist or an investigator.
You got it.
Your role is to support that young person and follow the rules.
Exactly. Now, let's shift gears a bit to a question that really looks at adaptability.
Okay.
Can you tell us about a time when you had to adapt your approach when working with youth?
I love this question
No, it's a good one.
because things don't always go according to plan,
Never.
especially in youth work.
Right. Every young person is an individual,
Yeah.
and you're going to encounter situations that require you to be flexible and think on your feet.
Yeah.
So maybe a planned activity totally flops, or you realize a certain communication style just isn't working.
Or you're working with a group with diverse needs.
Exactly. Choose an example that highlights your ability to assess the situation, adjust your approach, and still achieve that positive outcome.
Okay, so how do we emphasize the skills we used in that situation?
Yeah, talk about your problem-solving creativity, flexibility, and a willingness to learn from that experience.
It's about framing those moments as opportunities to grow, not failures.
You got it. Speaking of growth, let's chat about diversity and inclusion. How do you incorporate diversity and inclusion into your work with youth? Is a question you're bound to hear.
Yeah, it's about understanding that young people come from all walks of life, and we need to create a space where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued.
Absolutely go beyond those general statements like, I treat everyone equally.
Right.
Think about concrete actions you take. Do you intentionally include different perspectives and voices?
That's a good one.
Do you create opportunities to learn about different cultures and identities?
Oh, yeah.
Do you use inclusive language and challenge biases?
Those are all really good.
It's about actively creating that equitable and inclusive environment.
So this kind of ties into measuring success. How do you measure the success of your work with youth?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it can be hard to measure that impact,
It really can.
but you need to demonstrate that you're thinking critically about your work and you're always striving for improvement.
Right. So start by laying out your goals. What are you hoping to achieve? Improved academic performance, maybe stronger social skills, and then talk about how you keep track of that progress, whether it's through data collection, observation, or feedback.
Yeah, it's about showing them that you're not just winging it.
Totally.
You've got a plan. You're tracking progress, and you're actually using that information to refine your approach.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention how RoleCatcher can help you research those potential employers and find organizations whose values really align with your own.
Yeah, that's so valuable.
Like a matchmaker for your career.
I like that.
Now, before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, let's tackle one more question that focuses on teamwork.
Okay.
How do you collaborate with other stakeholders, such as parents, teachers, and community partners to support the needs of youth?
It takes a village.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the power of collaboration and showcasing your ability to build and maintain those effective partnerships.
So highlight those specific examples of successful collaborations. So maybe mentioning regular communication with parents and teachers, attending those meetings, participating in joint projects, or building strong relationships with community organizations.
The key is to show that you're a team player who gets the importance of collaboration in supporting young people.
We've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from understanding those interview questions to highlighting those key skills.
And don't forget that RoleCatcher can be your secret weapon in this process.
Yeah, but we're not done yet. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll shift gears and explore what it's really like to have a career in youth work, including the pros and cons and those potential career paths.
Welcome back. We just dove deep into those common youth worker interview questions.
Yeah, we figured out what they're really asking and how to craft those answers that'll help you stand out.
Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Like, what's it actually feel like to have a career in youth work?
Yeah, beyond just nailing the interview.
Because knowing if it's the right fit for you,
Yeah.
that's just as important as actually landing the job.
So true. Like any career, youth work has its own unique rewards and challenges. So let's start with the good stuff. What makes this career path so fulfilling?
You get to directly impact the lives of young people,
Yeah.
helping them navigate, those often turbulent teenage years. Imagine seeing those aha moments, when a concept finally clicks, or witnessing a shy kid blossom into this confident leader.
I bet those moments are so rewarding.
They are, and the RoleCatcher Career Guide actually mentions a youth worker who helped a student struggling with their identity
Oh, wow.
find resources and support,
That's amazing.
leading them to become a passionate advocate for their community.
That's the kind of impact you can make.
Exactly, and the work itself is so diverse.
Okay.
You could be leading a wilderness expedition one day, then facilitating a workshop on healthy relationships the next,
Wow.
and then collaborating with families on support plans.
Sounds like there's never a dull moment.
Definitely not. And speaking of variety, you get to work with young people from all walks of life, each with their own stories and perspectives. That exposure to diverse backgrounds is super enriching.
But let's be real. It's not always sunshine and rainbows, right?
Right.
What are some of the challenges that come with this type of career?
It can be emotionally demanding.
Yeah.
You're often like their main source of support during tough times. You might have to navigate sensitive conversations, witness challenging behaviors, and, deal with situations that require a lot of empathy and resilience.
And the RoleCatcher Guide really emphasizes that importance of self-care for youth workers.
It's so important.
Setting boundaries, seeking support, prioritizing your own well-being.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. And, it's no secret that the pay in youth work may not be as competitive as other fields.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like for many who choose this path, the intrinsic rewards of making a difference outweigh that financial aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about career progression.
Okay.
You might start as an entry-level youth worker, but where could that lead?
Yeah, this is where it gets exciting.
There are so many possibilities. Okay.
It really depends on your own interests and goals.
I like that.
You can move into a leadership role, like becoming a team leader program coordinator,
Oh,
or even a director of a youth organization.
wow.
You could specialize in a certain area,
Okay.
like working with at-risk youth, developing those outdoor education programs, or even focusing on mental health support.
Lots of options.
Yeah, and some youth workers leverage their experience and transition into related fields,
Oh, okay. Like what?
like social work counseling or education.
Oh, cool.
The RoleCatcher Guide features interviews with former youth workers who now hold leadership positions
Wow.
in nonprofits, government agencies, and some have even started their own youth-focused organizations.
That's incredible. So many different paths.
It is. And speaking of finding the right path, RoleCatcher's AI-powered Career Compass tool can help you explore potential career trajectories.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Based on your skills, interests, and aspirations, it's like having a personalized career counselor right in your pocket. Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's circle back to those interview questions for a second.
Okay.
We talked about, showing off your adaptability and problem-solving skills.
Yes. So important.
Being able to think on your feet and adjust your approach is crucial in youth work, especially when those unexpected situations come up.
Right. And RoleCatcher's AI feedback tool can be so valuable here.
Okay.
It can analyze your responses to those behavioral questions.
Like tell me about a time you had to adapt your approach.
Yes, and it'll suggest ways to make your answer even stronger and highlight those key skills.
Like having an interview expert giving you personalized tips.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so before we jump into that final part of our deep dive, I want to touch on self-care.
Yes.
It's so easy to get caught up in caring for others that you forget about yourself.
Yeah, but in a field as emotionally demanding as youth work, self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity.
The RoleCatcher Guide actually dedicates a whole section to self-care strategies,
Oh, that's great.
emphasizing setting boundaries, seeking support from colleagues and supervisors, and engaging in activities that bring you joy.
So important. And remember, self-care isn't selfish.
Right?
It's about ensuring you can continue to show up for those young people with energy, compassion, and resilience.
Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to touch on another aspect of youth work that can be both challenging and rewarding,
Okay.
working with parents, teachers, and other stakeholders.
Ah, yes. That collaboration piece is crucial.
Yeah, you're not working in isolation.
You're part of a larger system.
That's all dedicated to supporting those young people.
And that means navigating different perspectives, communication styles, and even sometimes conflicting opinions.
Yeah, it could be tricky.
It can, but when it's done well, collaboration can be really powerful. Think about those times when you've worked together with a parent or a teacher to help a young person overcome a challenge.
Yeah, it's truly a team effort.
It is, and RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you prepare for those interview questions related to collaboration.
Okay, how?
It can analyze your responses and suggest ways to highlight your communication skills, your ability to build rapport, and your experience working effectively as part of a team.
That's a great tip for anyone who might be feeling a little nervous about those teamwork-focused questions.
It is.
Okay, so we've really explored the ins and outs of youth work,
We have.
from the amazing highs to those demanding lows.
And everything in between.
And we talked about how RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools can really help you throughout that job search journey.
It's like your trusty sidekick.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our youth work deep dive.
We've covered those common interview questions, dug into what the career's really like, and even touched on how AI can give you a boost.
Now, as you're getting ready for that interview, we've got a few more bits of advice to share.
Think of these as the finishing touches that'll help you really stand out.
So first up, remember that an interview is a two-way street.
Yeah, you're checking them out just as much as they're checking you out.
Right, it's easy to just focus on impressing them. But you got to make sure this organization actually aligns with your values and goals.
Exactly. Come prepared with some good questions that show you've done your research.
What are some examples that show you're genuinely interested?
You could ask about their specific approach to youth development, their team culture, or what kind of professional development opportunities they offer.
Okay, so it shows you're invested in growing and contributing to their mission.
Exactly. Here's another tip before you go in. Take some time to think about what makes you unique.
Oh, that's good.
What are your strengths, your passions, those experiences that made you want to work with youth?
Yeah.
And then find ways to sprinkle those into your answers.
Okay.
Let your personality and your enthusiasm shine through.
So skills and experience are important. But so is that genuine drive to make a difference?
It's what makes you stand out from the crowd.
Okay. And while we're talking about making a good impression,
Yeah.
let's not forget the practical stuff.
Right.
Dress professionally.
It might seem obvious,
Yeah.
but those first impressions, they really matter.
They do.
You don't need a fancy suit, but choose something neat and tidy that reflects the organization's culture.
RoleCatcher actually has this cool feature that analyzes company profiles
Oh, wow.
and can give you insights into their work environment.
So you can hit that sweet spot between professional and approachable.
I love that. And finally, just remember to relax.
Yes.
Take a deep breath, smile, and be yourself.
It's natural to be nervous, but try to channel that energy into positive enthusiasm.
Yeah, the interviewer wants to see the real you, the passionate, dedicated person who's ready to make a difference.
And as you step into that interview room, remember all those insights and strategies we've talked about.
You've got the knowledge, the preparation, even that AI support to make a great impression.
But here's one last thought to take with you. While specific skills and experiences are valuable, it's your genuine passion for working with young people that will truly set you apart.
Let that passion guide you.
It'll shine through in your answers, your interactions, and ultimately in the impact you make on those young lives.
Best of luck. We're rooting for you.